All right, folks, let's talk propaganda. Now, before you start picturing mustachioed dictators and grainy newsreels, let's be clear. Propaganda is way more subtle and pervasive than that. It's the sneaky art of persuasion, the dark cousin of advertising, and it's everywhere. At its core, propaganda is all about shaping your opinion, not through logic or reason, but through emotion. It bypasses your critical thinking skills and goes straight for your gut. It's about making you feel something. Fear, anger, patriotism, you name it. And the worst part, most of the time, you don't even realize it's happening. You're scrolling through social media, watching the news, or even just chatting with your Uncle Frank, and bam! You're being subtly manipulated. But don't worry, my friends. We're going to break down the most common propaganda techniques so you can spot them a mile away. Because in a world of spin and misinformation, a little critical thinking goes a long way. First up, we've got name-calling, the playground bully of propaganda techniques. It's simple, it's effective, and it's all about making the opposition look bad without actually addressing the issues. Think of it like this. Instead of debating policy, you just call your opponent a radical socialist or a corporate shill. Bonus points if you can work in a catchy nickname that sticks in people's minds. Now, name-calling isn't new. It's been around since the dawn of politics, probably invented by two cavemen arguing over the best way to hunt woolly mammoths. But in the age of social media, it's become a blood sport. The goal? To trigger an emotional response and make you associate the target with something negative. So, the next time you see a headline screaming about crooked politicians or fake news, remember you're probably witnessing a good old-fashioned game of name-calling. Next up, we've got glittering generalities, the seductive siren of the propaganda world. This technique is all about using vague, emotionally appealing words to make something sound amazing, even if there's not much substance behind it. Think of words like freedom, justice, hope, or even new and improved. These words evoke positive feelings, but they're often used to mask a lack of concrete plans or details. Politicians love this technique. They'll promise you change without specifying what that change will be or how they'll achieve it. They'll talk about making America great again without defining what great actually means. But hey, it sounds good, right? And that's the whole point. Glittering generalities are designed to appeal to your emotions and make you feel good about a candidate or an idea without really telling you anything concrete. Now let's talk about transfer, the master of association in the propaganda game. This technique is all about linking a person, product or idea with something else to make it seem more appealing or, conversely, more repulsive. Think of it like this. You want to sell more American flags? Easy, just show them waving alongside images of adorable puppies, heroic soldiers and apple pie. Suddenly those flags aren't just pieces of fabric, they're symbols of everything good and pure about America. Of course, transfer can also be used for less than noble purposes. Want to discredit a politician? Just show a picture of them shaking hands with someone controversial or standing in front of an unflattering backdrop. The point is, transfer bypasses logic and goes straight for your gut. It's about making you make snap judgments based on associations, not facts. So next time you see an ad that seems designed to evoke a strong emotional response, ask yourself, what are they trying to transfer onto their product or candidate? Because it's probably not apple pie and puppies. Section 5, testimonial. Trust me, I'm famous, or at least I play one on TV. Now let's talk about testimonials, the celebrity endorsements of the propaganda world. This technique is all about using a famous or respected person to vouch for a product, idea, or candidate. Think about it. When you see your favorite athlete drinking a certain brand of sports drink, part of you thinks, hey, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me, and boom, you're already reaching for your wallet. But here's the thing, just because someone is famous or successful doesn't mean they're an expert on everything. That athlete might not know the first thing about electrolytes, and that celebrity spokesperson might not actually use the product they're hawking. Testimonials are powerful because they tap into our desire to be like those we admire. But remember, just because Michael Jordan drinks Gatorade doesn't mean you'll suddenly develop a 40-inch vertical leap. Section 6. Plain folk politicians in overalls just like us. Let's be honest, folks. There's nothing more awkward than watching a politician try to act like a regular person. But that's exactly what the plain folk propaganda technique is all about. The goal is simple: make the audience believe that the person or organization is just like them, relatable, and understands their everyday struggles. It's about creating a sense of trust and shared values. So, you'll see politicians ditching their suits for jeans and flannels, showing up at local diners and talking about their humble beginnings. They'll use folksy language, tell relatable anecdotes, and maybe even awkwardly throw around some slang. Now, there's nothing inherently wrong with a politician wanting to connect with their constituents. But when it comes to the plain folk technique, it's important to remember that it's still a performance. They're not actually living your life, they're just playing a role. Section 7. Card stacking. Everything's coming up aces if you ignore the other cards. Now let's get strategic with card stacking, the master manipulator of information in the propaganda playbook. This technique is all about presenting information selectively to make one side of an argument look better, while conveniently ignoring any evidence to the contrary. Think of it like this. Imagine you're playing cards and you only show the aces while hiding the rest of your hand. It looks impressive, right? But it doesn't give a complete or accurate picture of the game. Propagandists use this technique all the time. They'll cherry-pick statistics, highlight positive testimonials, and focus on the benefits of their product or idea, while downplaying or completely ignoring any potential drawbacks or opposing viewpoints. The key to spotting card stacking is to look for what's missing. Are they only presenting one side of the story? Are they omitting crucial details or context? If so, you're probably dealing with a stacked deck. Section 8, bandwagon. Everyone's doing it, except maybe not. Last but not least, we have the bandwagon technique, the peer pressure of the propaganda world. This technique plays on our innate desire to fit in and be part of the majority. It's the everybody's doing it, so you should too approach. Think of those commercials that show crowds of people happily using a product, or those political rallies where everyone's chanting the same slogan. The message is clear: don't be left out, join the winning team. Now, there's a reason why the bandwagon effect is so effective. As social creatures, we're hardwired to seek out conformity and belonging. But just because something is popular doesn't make it right. The next time you see a product, idea, or candidate being presented as incredibly popular, remember, popularity doesn't equal truth or validity. Think for yourself, question the hype, and don't be afraid to hop off the bandwagon if it's headed in the wrong direction.
Section 9, historical context, from wartime posters to viral tweets. Now, you might be thinking, okay, John, propaganda sounds shady, but is it really that big of a deal? Well, my friends, it's been used to sway public opinion and shape the course of history for centuries. Let's rewind to World War II, shall we? Propaganda was instrumental in rallying support for the war effort, demonizing enemies, and even motivating people to ration food and buy war bonds. Remember those iconic posters with Uncle Sam pointing at you saying, "I want you for us, Army"? That's propaganda in action. It played on patriotism, duty, and even a little bit of guilt to convince young men to enlist. But propaganda isn't just a relic of the past, it's alive and well in the 21st century, and it's gotten a serious upgrade thanks to the internet.
Section 10. Modern examples. Propaganda in the age of the internet. In today's digital landscape, propaganda has gone viral. It's no longer confined to posters, radio broadcasts, or even television. It's infiltrated our social media feeds, our online news sources, and even our personalized advertising. Think about it. How many times have you seen a misleading headline on social media, shared a story without fact-checking it, or fallen for a clickbait article designed to provoke outrage? That's right, folks. We're all susceptible to propaganda in the digital age. The internet has become a breeding ground for misinformation, disinformation, and propaganda of all stripes. It's easier than ever to spread biased information, manipulate algorithms, and create echo chambers where people are only exposed to information that confirms their existing beliefs. And the worst part? It's often difficult to tell the difference between genuine information and carefully crafted propaganda.
Section 11. Conclusion. Staying woke in a world of spin. So, where does that leave us? Well, my friends, it means that we need to be more vigilant than ever. We need to be critical thinkers, question everything, and be wary of any information that seems designed to elicit a strong emotional response. Don't just take things at face value. Look for evidence. Consider different perspectives, and don't be afraid to call out BS when you see it. Remember, knowledge is power, and in the age of information overload, a healthy dose of skepticism is your best defense against the insidious influence of propaganda. And hey, if you're feeling really ambitious, maybe we can all work together to create a world where information is shared transparently, honestly, and with a healthy dose of critical thinking. Now, wouldn't that be something? Until then, stay woke, my friends.